Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Rush Racing League Div 6 here in Texas. We're back at it again for a sprint and feature weekend here in this not the Sunshine State, that'd be Miami, but we're here where everything is bigger in Texas. We've had some fantastic racing throughout every division here so far, and Div 6 is expected to bring a lot of action here tonight. It is going to be myself, Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, here in the commentary booth. Aardvark will be joining in partway through qualifying, so it'll be just me from right now. And without any further ado, we're going to jump straight to the track here as things are about to go ahead and get fired up here. We're here in the Lone Star State, seeing who's going to go ahead and be the Lone Star on the top step of the podium. It is a singular qualifying session in both the sprint and then another one for the feature race qualifying. So there will be no elimination stages, pretty much flat out pedal to the metal from green light to the checkered flag. And we'll just have to see how everything goes on in this session. We have just about a full grid. H-Town unfortunately lost power right before we went green, so he will try to be back in before this feature race. He would ideally like to be back in before the sprint race, but we'll see if he can come on in. We do have Aardvark, who will also be joining us in the commentary booth, who will also be joining in partway through quali. But yeah, how are you guys doing today? Hope you guys are having a fantastic morning, fantastic evening, fantastic afternoon, from wherever in the world you may be watching from, as we go ahead and watch Div 6 get ready to roll out, as I believe it is one of the Aston Martins going ahead and heading on to the track right now. And I mean, we've seen some drivers have some really good results here. Aston Martin's had a pretty strong week here, especially in Div 2. And actually, I was wrong. It was a Mercedes going ahead and jumping in. So we're just going to go ahead and watch these cars get this outlap in. Now, the trick with this track is that you got to be really careful on your timing, because the first few corners through Sector 1 are just dirty air central. You got corners inspired by Maggots and Beckett's at Silverstone. And then, but you also want to be in a position where you can pretty much draft right off your teammate coming through the massive Lone Star stretch, as I like to call it, right after turn 11 on a massive straight in sector number 2. You can get a good tow there, then pretty much the rest of it is going to be pretty tricky if you are following a car just ahead. We do have quite a few cars out on track here at the moment, so currently in our session, for Alpine, we have Crowjag and Drewzilla. And then for Red Bull, it is Uncle Morty and David. Jackal will take up the sole McLaren seat for right now. Racing Bulls, we have Striker and TMT Legend. MPJ and Dwight will take in the Haas's. Mr. Panda and Quicksilver will be our Ferraris here on the night. Kick Sauber will be represented by Filthy Orange and Chevy Wolves. And that is our field here tonight. We also have Tazio and Hunter in the Mercedes. And then Liam Durienberg, who was a pretty popular free agent before silly season. And Spud Muffin, who is making his debut tonight in the Williams. And we also have in Aston Martin, before we forget, it is Woofa and Paul and Hell, with H-Town expected to be joining in some point during sprint quali or the feature quali. So it's going to be a fun time here. We have some drivers currently doing laps right now. We're on board with the Racing Bull of Striker, as he's going to go ahead and make his way through Big Red, and now he's going to go ahead and make his way through the S's here, the Lone Star S's, making his way through. And qualifying is going to be pretty important here today, but one of the nice things about today's format being the last sprint weekend of the season here at Rush Racing League Season 9 is that you get another shot. If you don't do super well in quali, you'll get another chance. And as we've seen throughout the week, especially in Div 2, this is a track where you can battle. You can battle it out here, tooth and nail. You can have some good fights, especially through Sector 3. I mean, just going back to Div 2 again. I mean, Oblivion and Broadstone were just fighting out so hard as these drivers are going through. Tazio will set the fastest lap time here to kick things off, a 32.7 to go ahead and get things rolling here in Texas. Now here's an interesting thing too, is that, and Liam going ahead and setting the quickest time on a set of mediums, and this is the point I was just going to bring up, is that mediums are a viable strategy here for qualifying, because if we had full qualifying, you'd have to go medium, medium, soft in terms of qualifying. That is the sprint format rules. But here, with it being only a single section, you pretty much have the option of running the soft or the medium, and then you'll have that other tire available later on, whether it's in the Grand Prix qualifying or whether you choose it for the sprint, or even some bold people might choose some bold people might just choose the soft for the feature race. So just go ahead and take a look through Twitch chat here. Thank you, Symphonic, for subscribing to the channel with Twitch Prime. Your support means a lot here at Rush Racing League, and we're so glad to have the support of everybody here, but a special thank you to you for subscribing with Prime. Vettel is saying that let Mercedes cook, and honestly right now they are in a pretty good spot to cook here. P2 and P4 in the opening stages of sprint quali here. And then, we're hearing that Hunter might try to go back to back. We'll have to see. This track is a track where, we saw Watanabe just absolutely dominate here in Div 2. So it is a track you can run away on, especially if the cars behind are fighting. But we'll just kind of see. And also, you do get a bit of a warm-up race in the sprint. It's a 10-lap sprint race, followed by the 28-lap feature. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how these drivers go ahead and how they do. Because sometimes you can do really good in the sprint and then have a really kind of abysmal Grand Prix and vice versa. So you get two chances here, which is the important thing. Riding now with Uncle Morty as he's going to go ahead and continue to burn it down in terms of the battery. Using battery through this massive sweeping left-hander just before turn 19. Now, turn 19 is a corner where we have seen a lot of penalties. Oblivion got his last second penalty coming out turn 9 on the final lap. Uncle Morty will jump up into P7 here at the moment on his opening lap, but it's interesting to see just how these drivers have opted just to use a medium tire to set their opening lap, and some of them are probably going to do even their main lap on it. So we'll see who can go ahead and go where. There's currently 3 drivers who have yet to set a time, as Woofa does set a time, but it is definitely a banker. He is now up by 11 seconds here on his time, as now we go ahead and just check into times. Things are pretty tight here to kind of kick things off. Top 4 within a second of each other. Less than a tenth of a second separates our top 2, which is really, really impressive. So it'll be interesting to kind of see who can make the most of these tires, because it is a shorter qualifying. It's only about 12 minutes roughly. So you really don't get a whole lot of time, as we're about to go ahead and see who can go ahead and set sprint pole. Liam has done a very good job. There was a lot of discussion going around the V-Carb driver coming into silly season. And honestly, with his time at the moment, it was a very good improvement, as Woofa now is going to make his way through the last couple of corners. Jackal going ahead and disrupting the field, going ahead and setting a time 0.7 hundredths of a second quicker then Liam on a set of 3-lap old mediums. So track evolution is heavy here today. And it's interesting too because it's an overcast track. So, and yes, Oblivion, I will agree that your battle was probably, I would say, one of the most enjoyable races I've commentated in any division across the season.
So sorry. Yeah.
Ah, there he is. There's Aardvark. How are you doing today?
All good.
Alright,
Fortunately, traffic on the way home was not very fast to me.
Ah, yes. An issue that affects you both in-game and in the real world, as we are down to the final 2.5 minutes of sprint quality. Traffic is going to be a tough one for these drivers to navigate, just like it's tough navigating in the real world. I understand. For those of you maybe watching from the U.S., I-95 at rush hour is abysmal. You honestly might make it more ground walking in some cases, but let me know when you're ready for an invite. I'll shoot one your way.
Yeah, of course. Is currently just booting.
Oh, Woofa almost missing the pit entry there. Having a bit of understeer through there, which is certainly not ideal, as we have some other cars currently going ahead and doing laps right now. A lot of drivers are on their final out lap. A minute and a half left to go in quali, and we'll see who can go ahead and disrupt this order here. We'll go on board with Liam. He is on a brand new set of soft tires. He's going to make his way to Big Red. The track gets cleared up a bit in terms of the weather. It was looking pretty cloudy when we started, and now it's pretty sunny here, although weather was not expected to really be a factor here, and it so far hasn't. But making his way through the Lone Star S's. He's going to go ahead and he's improving by about a tenth, almost 2/10, so he is in position to take sprint pole away from Jackal there in the McLaren. So let's just kind of see how this one plays out. He's going on to the straight here in sector number 2. He is just about to hit the DRS as the Alassian Williams machine making its way down into turn number 12. He's going to go ahead and go through turn number 12 here. And now here comes the really, really tricky part of the circuit. It's a part where you can do a lot of good battling, but overall it is a very tricky section to navigate, especially if you're not feeling confident in your car, which Liam certainly is. Jackal will not be improving. So this is pretty much prime time for anyone else to go ahead and jump into these positions. Quicksilver Deck will jump up into 4th. Liam is going to come across the line. He'll take provisional pole by only 47 hundredths of a second. We'll see if Tazio, the second Mercedes, or the other Mercedes here tonight, let's see how the Mercedes can do. Tazio is currently in P3 at the moment. We'll see if he can jump up. Oh, having a bit of a course correction there through turn 19, and he's going to put the pedal to the metal, coming to the line. He will improve, but he will not improve his position. But the top 3 separated by less than a tenth. That is something you don't see every day.
Yeah. Happy to receive an invite when you can.
Alright, let's go to get you in real quick. Your name is like right on top, so it's a very quick and easy thing. And Hunter will invalidate on his final lap, so he will improve. He'll start from 7th at the moment. And now let's go check in with Uncle Morty. The 2 Red Bulls are going to go ahead and make it on through. David will be setting his first lap time of the session. Can Uncle Morty jump up the order? He'll jump up into 10th. David will be in 19th. So that is qualifying done and dusted for everybody here. And our top 3 separated by less than a tenth of a second. So I think this sprint race is going to be pretty interesting to watch. But the crazy thing to note is that Jackal is the only driver who set his best time on a medium tire. So everybody else has used a set of soft tires. Jackal has only used that medium. So that is going to be really interesting to see what his pace is going to be in the sprint. And I think Jackal's got a pretty good shot here, Aardvark.
Yeah, could you send me another one, please?
I will when I can. We just got into the transitional phase here. But going through our qualifying order really quickly, it is Liam, Jackal, Tazio, Drewzilla, Quicksilver, Dwight, Hunter, MPJ, Paul and Hell, Spud Muffin, Uncle Morty, Crowjack, TMT Legend, Filthy Orange, Mr. Panda, Woofa, Chevy Wolves, Striker, and David are our last drivers here on the grid for the sprint race. So a few drivers have set their best time on a medium, but the only driver who only used a medium throughout the session was Jackal. But Jackal, being in the top three, only just about half a tenth behind P1, who is on a soft tire. I think that's gonna be pretty telling of the pace that he has. But qualifying's one thing, the race is another. As we're about to go ahead and get ready here, an invite has been sent again, so we're gonna go ahead and get ready to rock here for the sprint. 10 laps around the Circuit of the Americas, and it is gonna be fast and furious. I mean, even in the feature race, we've seen it be fast and furious all week long, and now here on Tuesday morning, we're about to see how everything really kicks up here.
Yeah. EA has still sent nothing.
Are you on PlayStation, perhaps?
No, I'm on PC.
Oh, then yeah, I don't know. I know in recent times it has been issues with PC or with PlayStation getting invites. I know that was an issue that kind of held us up earlier on, but we'll go ahead and do what we can to get everything situated, everything rolling, as we await to see the drivers going ahead and making their setup changes. Getting ready for the sprint, but here we go. We got those 5 red lights coming on. And it is lights out and away we go here for the rodeo known as the sprint race here at the Circuit of the Americas. Liam's going to get a very good launch, but Jackal already trying to stick his nose up the inside. Hunter gets a 10-second penalty for corner cutting. That is something you don't see every day. I don't know how he got a 10-second there at the get-go at the lap. That may be under review from the stewards and it might get removed. We'll just have to see, but it is crazy scenes here to kick things off. Crazy scenes here indeed, as Liam is still leading the pack coming into turn number 11, now down the big straight in sector 2. We will see if Jackal can get an overtake here. He's going to try to bide his time, using a good amount of battery to close in the gap, but DRS will be enabled this lap. So once he goes ahead and crosses out start finish straight, he will be going ahead and he'll be having some good opportunities with DRS. And then we might see some cinematic battles like we did pretty much all week here. And any luck on your end, Aardvark?
I've just rebooted my game, so let's see.
It has just been that kind of night, unfortunately. As Liam will set the fastest lap. Hunter's into the pits. He's going to try to probably get that front wing changed out. And no, he's just retired from the session outright. So, not the best start for the driver trying to go back-to-back here in Div 6. He is retired on lap number 2 of the sprint. And Jackal is following really close here through the S's. That dirty air does hit you like a freight train here in this sector of the track. Let's go and check in on what tires everybody has. Some drivers have actually opted for the hard tires, so mostly mediums here, but some drivers have opted for a little bit of extra battling potential by running that hard tire. So it'll be interesting just to kind of see how the tires play out. You do burn up a good amount of tires around this track. So we'll see. It is going to be DRS for Jackal as he is going to go ahead and close in the gap. He won't have enough time to make an overtake, as Quicksilver and Dwight are going to go ahead and duke it out here for position. The Ferrari and the Haas going at it again, and we do know that Ferrari likes to battle around this track. We saw it in Div 2, and probably one of the most entertaining battles of the season. And now we are just seeing how these drivers going ahead and kind of trying to get into the groove here as the sprint race is well and truly underway. Currently about to start lap number 3 out of 10 here on the day. And so any look on your end now that it's done its reboot?
Nope, nothing, unfortunately. This is... I'm just sitting here waiting for communicating with online services, booting the game.
Yeah, that has unfortunately been a pretty telling issue. Jackal now pretty much back in the wheel tracks of Liam, trying to go ahead and try to close in the gap, trying to make any kind of move humanly possible here at this stage. He's going to go in and try. You really want to be about 0.3 of a second roughly coming out of this corner, and he'll be right around that as it goes on through. He's going to have DRS now. The rear wing is going to open up. He's going to close in the gap. He's going to go for it. Sending a move. He's got the speed. He has the DRS. But does he have the move? Liam's going to fight it. Liam is going to go ahead and fight tooth and nail. And the Williams is going to hold on to that position for now. And Tazio's in the mix. Tazio's pretty much just right here tucked in behind. These three are about 2 seconds ahead. And man, am I getting some flashbacks here. This has the potential to be a very fun cinematic sprint race here in Austin, Texas. They say everything is bigger here in the Lone Star State. And so far that seems to be the case here, as drivers are continuing to battle it out up and down the field. And we'll ride on board with Tazio as he's now closing in the gap. Ooh, looks like a bit of a checkup there potentially from Jackal. Tazio was about to seize his opportunity, about to cash in and try to get a move done here. But now he's going to have to go ahead and ride the crazy mechanical bull that is the Dirty Air here. There's a bit of an interesting line through one of the louder parts of the S's. So he's going to go to continue to put pressure on as the Cota tower is in the background there in shot. We'll see if Jackal's gonna go and get the move done here this time. He's got to be careful though. He's a bit further back. And Tazio could potentially kind of invite himself into this party if drivers are not too careful. And we're gonna see. Jackal's thinking about the move. He'll get a little bit of clear air, but that's about it for the McLaren, as Tazio is still just kind of checking in here right behind. Just a bit behind them. Chevy Wolves does get the move done on the Paul and Hell. Then we'll go ahead and swap the positions around. And it looks like there's even more battles coming up here through the field. Filthy Orange and the White going ahead and duking it out here. They're going to go ahead and fight it out for position here. This is for P9 on the track. They're going to go ahead and do battle here as they make their way through. And I think Filthy is actually missing, yeah, he's missing an end plate there on his Sauber as he goes very wide, taking the NASCAR line coming through turn number 19. So, yeah, if you do that too many times, that's surely a penalty, as TMT is going to try to get a move coming into Big Red. He's going to go ahead as we're at the halfway point of the sprint. He will get the move done, but Dwight is going to go and try to fight it. He's going to try to fight it through the sector here. He's going to give it his all. And they're going to duke it out through the S's. Not exactly the best place to battle, but it is a place to battle. And we even have the Haas running the Lone Star livery here. So, yeah, it's been a pretty entertaining sprint race so far. We have some battles here as Jackal is now closing the door, or closing the gap, I should say, to Liam. He's going to go ahead and fire on past, getting the move done and dusted. But once again, Liam's going to try to hang it around the outside. It worked once. Is he going to work again? Side by side, coming through turn 14. And nope, it is not going to work this time around, but he's going to try to fire it up back up the inside. Almost making contact there, forcing Jackal a bit wide. And these two are scrapping it out tooth and nail. This is a beautiful battle that we're seeing here. Williams and McLaren. One of the oldest rivalries in Formula One has remanifested itself here in Rush Racing. Liam, through some very good skill, does retake that position. But you know, Jackal's going to be hungry. He's going to try to get a move done here in the big red. He's going to go for it. Going to be deep on the brakes. Liam going to try to hang it around the outside. Tazio right there to pick up the pieces if something were to go sideways. And Jackal will lead here coming through the SS, and that is a move done and dusted as Tazio gets a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations as we are in the second half of the sprint. Any luck on your end, Aardvark?
I'll need another invite, but don't invite me now. Wait until wait until feature quali.
All right.
Just try.
Sounds good. We'll go ahead and get you in. We'll get H-Town in as well. Hopefully his power is back on. I mean, it's unfortunate, especially for him, as this is his home track here. As Tazio is trying to get a move done onto Liam. Gonna lock out the brakes. Almost having a bit of contact there going into the corner. And these guys are really trying to fight it out, trying to fight tooth and nail. Fighting for every single position on the track. And they're going to go ahead and give it their all.
To mention, it's also bringing in the Alpine into the fight.
Yeah, that is true. Druzilla isn't too far behind. Druzilla is pretty much knocking on the door there, trying to get in on this fight too. We kind of saw this in Div 2 the other night where, I mean, you had drivers battling it out and bringing other drivers into the fold and into the realm of possibilities. Looks like Tazio was a bit slow, actually, at least from this POV coming through turn 1. But Liam is still pretty much now hot on the heels. Yeah, I think Tazio did have a bit of a moment coming through turn 1. He is now out of DRS range. He is coming back into DRS range though at this stage. So, I mean, DRS range is going to be crucial here because if you don't have DRS, Druzilla is going to be right there ready to go for the taking. As these drivers are continuing to do battle here in the Lone Star State. Liam is now... Oh, Liam! Oh, that might have been a bit of a connectivity thing because Liam almost spun on his own. He's sending it all the way from downtown Austin. And he's going to get the move. He's been very audacious here tonight on that set of mediums. And he does get the move done. Our sprint pole sitter having a fantastic time of things here tonight. Simply lovely battling happening here between the Williams and the McLaren. Tazio now is going to have Druzilla for company. He's not going to have DRS range on the start-finish straight. And Liam has left the session. Oh, that is disastrous. We'll try to get him an invite real quick. But man, that is heartbreaking stuff here.
Yeah, just trying to fight the same.
Oh, but now I'm getting hit with the communicating with online services. There you go. We'll try to get you back in. Or try to get you in the first place. So, I mean, these guys are fighting now. And yeah, oh, you got to feel for Liam. Because he was in such a good spot. And then his AI had to take over. Because he got DC'd and... yeah, he's kind of out of this one. Oh, but a contact there between Tazio and the AI of Liam. So Liam is going to try to hold on, but he is pretty much a sitting duck right now. As Tazio is going to get through, and Druzilla is also going to get through. They're going to go ahead and make it on through onto the Williams. And look at this. Drewzilla is going to try to get a move done. He tries to go deep, or maybe just missed his braking zone ever so slightly. As now it is 3 laps to go here on the sprint. As Legend and Dwight are trading positions here. Liam has been able to get back in. Hopefully he can get back into his car and try to at least pick up some pieces, as now he's dropped down to P5 as Uncle Morty does retake the position. And now the drivers are going to start the penultimate lap of the sprint race. And battle is going to commence here very soon. As even then, even if Drew doesn't get this on track, he is going to go ahead and get the move done in post because of the 3-second track limit violation penalty that Tazio has just up the road ahead. And these guys are going to be pretty much fast and furious all the way to the end. And Liam has left the session again, so connectivity hasn't been his friend here tonight. As we'll go ahead and try to get him another invite real quick. And man, oh man, this has just been a rough one for the Williams team. Williams had such a good start. They had some pretty solid qualifying positions. Liam taking sprint pole, and then you had Spud Muffin, who I believe qualified P10. But now you got him down in 6th and 16th. So a bit of a rough night for the Williams to kick things off, but the beauty of a sprint is that you do get another chance to give it another go pretty much directly afterwards. So it'll be interesting to kind of see if they can bounce back. I have full faith that they can, but yeah, I mean, it still doesn't change the fact that there is a lot of points on off here in the sprint for Williams. The Alpine here is trying to make inroads, trying to go ahead and get past. It is the final lap of the sprint race now. And so Drewzilla, he'll get this position either way, but he wants to get it done on track. He just has to stay within 3 seconds of Tazio. Tazio will still get a sprint podium here, but he's going to have to really try to fight and pull away here and try to go ahead and get things done. He needs to get back within the DRS range here, crucially, right before turn 11. As we have Quicksilver Deck pretty much now right on the back of the Red Bull of Uncle Morty. So this is going to be a fight here between these two for P4. And if these guys fight hard enough, it might even be a P3 because of Tazio's penalties. But Drew is out of DRS range. I don't know if he got back in time. We'll see. He didn't. So I think Tazio will win this out on track. He'll lose it due to the pens, but on track he will get it. As Quicksilver Deck is going to go ahead and try to fire it past. He's going to be deep on the brakes. He will get the move done. But we have seen the retake be very effective here around the outside. He is going to go ahead and have the retake. And these two are going to scrap it out here. And they're going to fight. They're fighting like gladiators here. It's not their first rodeo here in Texas, and certainly won't be the last. Coming across the last corner now to wrap things up in the sprint race. Jackal will win the sprint race here in Texas. Tazio will come across the line in P2, but get demoted to P3. Drewzilla will go ahead and finish off the podium. Uncle Morty will win that battle, and Liam will come up in P6. And then the rest of our sprint grid will follow through, but that was a very entertaining sprint race, and we'll just have to see how the feature goes. As Dwight does have a 10-second penalty, now will drop him way down the order.
Jesus. Yeah, unfortunately, still no luck. EA is not helping right now.
Gotcha. While this is wrapping up, I actually think I might have a quick solution that might work for the two of us. But yeah, so far it has been a very entertaining race. Hopefully you guys enjoy that sprint race. And if you guys did enjoy the sprint race, go ahead and drop a follow if you haven't already. And stay tuned because we do have a sprint quali and a sprint race coming up just after this. So Jackal once again getting the win in the sprint race. And we will see how the feature race goes if he can keep it up. So right now we're going to go take a look at our sprint results here. It is Jackal, Drewzilla, Tazio, Uncle Morty, Quicksilver, Liam, Chevy, Filthy Orange, Woofa, Paul and L rounding out top 10. Then it's MPJ, David, Mr. Panda to White, TMT Legend, Spun Muffin, Crowjack, Striker, and Hunter, who retired after lap 1. So we're going to go ahead and get things ready for sprint quality, or feature quality here. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, here, let's try this. This may put my laptop into a bit of a pickle, but we're going to go ahead and give this a go. See if this will at least solve some of the issues until we can get you in. We'll go ahead and get Liam another invite as well. We'll try to get him back into the session. We'll try to get H-Town in as well, because all these drivers are still needing invites. So while we got a little bit of intermission in between the two, we're going to go ahead and try to get Aardvark back in. We'll get, I sent Liam, or I sent you two because it reset. Oh, this is having a bit of a field day, but alright, there we go.
Yeah, it's not sending to me.
That's rough.
Yeah, okay, lovely.
EA shenanigans are in full swing here tonight, unfortunately.
They are.
The one thing that will happen as a broadcaster that you'll never really truly be able to get away from is the fact that you are going to just always run into tech issues. It doesn't matter how much money you throw at something. Tech issues will still arise from time to time. And we'll just kind of see how the sprint or the feature race goes. It is feature quality now. Chevy Will's first car out on track. And he's going to go ahead and...
Rekus just closed the Discord stream. The stream to lag for other people.
Alright, well, we tried something, but yeah, unfortunately it just wasn't meant to be tonight. So we did go ahead and give it a try, but...
Sorry guys, unfortunately I'm unable to get into the lobby, so I won't be able to commentate on anything tonight. It'll be too delayed for me to look at. I don't want to lag Rekus's computer too much for you guys, so unfortunately will only be Rekus for the rest of the sprint weekend. Enjoy the race.
Alright, well thank you for at least attempting to get in. I know it's no fault of your own, but hey, there's always next week.
Yeah, hopefully. Alright, see you guys.
Alright, take care. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you are stuck with me for now, as we are going to go ahead and just get these quali laps rolling on in. Tis unfortunate that Aardvark was unable to go ahead and join in, but server shenanigans are afoot. Here's what we're actually going to do. We're going to go ahead and do we're just going to go ahead and do what I like to call an immersive onboard. We will ride on board with Crowjack when he begins his lap. I'll go ahead and cease to yap for a moment and let you guys just enjoy the Renault V6, because this will be one of the last times we'll be able to hear this Renault powertrain, as they do switch to Mercedes next year. But when he gets going, we're going to go ahead and just ride with him for a lap, and then we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. The action will still be on your screen, and I'll just go ahead and let you guys enjoy the onboard from Crowjack's POV. We'll be back. Alright, so that was an onboard lap with Jack. Hopefully you guys did enjoy that and just enjoying the sound of the engine roaring on through this beautiful circuit. He did put in a lap time good enough for what was P5. Now it is P4. Now Spud Buffett's actually in a pretty decent spot to kick off feature quali, as he is only 45 hundredths of a second behind Jackal here. And Jackal was pretty quick on the medium tire, so I mean, I'm not surprised that he's going to be quick here on the soft as things get rolling here. Chevy Wolves did have a quali ban, so he is out of our qualifying session here. He didn't set a lap time, but he did have that quali ban, so he can do the sprint qualifying, but the feature qualifying he was prohibited from. So he is going to go ahead and retire the car. He will do a kind of a test lap to kind of make sure his setup is okay, but he would be not allowed to set a time. So that is why Chevy Wolves has retired without setting a time. For anyone who might be new here to Rush Racing League, if it's your first time here, don't make it your last. Go ahead and drop a follow. If you are new here, we do several streams a week. We have 8 divisions in total. We have our regular Oceanic divisions, which are Divs 1 through 6. You are currently watching Div 6. And then we have NAEU, and then we have the newest in terms of this current overall season, but by no stretch the newest division in Rush history. We do have Formula 2, which Formula 2 race is coming up. I have to double check what track they're at, but we do have 3 different series going on, 8 divisions in total, and a lot of amazing action here. So if you are a fan of any particular track, the OCE tracks, the OCE regions do like to run the same track pretty much for the entire week. So there are 6 divisions here running sprint weekends in the Circuit of the Americas. So you get 12 total races, including sprint and Grand Prix here at the Circuit of the Americas. So it is the last sprint weekend of the season. And then next week we are down to the final 5 rounds of the championship. We are heading to Austria, Australia, Spain, Canada, and China to wrap things up here. We had our last 100% race 2 weeks ago in Abu Dhabi. And then now our final sprint weekend here in the Circuit of the Americas, as Liam has been disconnected again. I think he gets one more invite, then I think that's it. I think that's the rule. I have to double check with the people who know the rule book a lot better than I do. Let's go and talk about the constructors here as we are going in to go through qualifying. So Div 6 did have to do an Imola rerun due to EA shenanigans. So McLaren do lead the Constructors' Championship here at the moment with 261 points, followed by Red Bull, who have 237, and then followed by Mercedes and Haas that are tied on points with 220 apiece. So this is a big week for them. And then it is Williams and Racing Bulls separated by only a single point. And then Alpine, Aston, Kick Sauber, and then Ferrari, who have only 65 points here in Div 6. So Div 6 was always kind of a struggling point for Ferrari here this season. Taking a look at the driver standings here, Jackal has an outstanding lead, 198 points to MPJ's 151. So that is a bit of a gap there. And then Nishka directly behind with 127. So, and Nishka, well, fortunately and unfortunately, will not be competing in Div 6 anymore. He has been promoted to Div 5. And although I think this Williams pair that they have now in the car of Spud Muffin and Liam, I think it is a pretty promising mixture. Because, I mean, they definitely had pace in the sprint, and Liam honestly could have won this. He could have won the sprint. The sprint was kind of in his um, the ball was in his court essentially. That was the phrase I was trying to think of. The ball was in his court, but unfortunately, EA decided that it didn't want Liam to win a sprint and disconnected him on numerous occasions. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season does play out. With only 5 rounds to go after this, as I'm going to go ahead and say, hello Lockie, welcome on into the stream here for Div 6 here tonight. Hopefully you're enjoying the action. We had a very fun and very entertaining sprint with some good battles. Unfortunately ended by disconnections. But then we have, I think, here's the thing too, because we saw in Div 2, we saw a pretty entertaining sprint and then a cinematic Grand Prix. So if you're just joining us for the feature race, then I think you picked a pretty good time to jump on in. As the Mercedes pair firing on all cylinders, those silver arrows are flying true at the moment. A front row lockout for the Mercedes team, and that is exactly what they wanted. Their sprint left a little bit to be desired, but they're leaving nothing to be desired here in qualifying here, as we're down to 6.5 minutes on the clock, as drivers are going to go ahead and continue on setting their laps. The only driver who has yet to set a lap is Liam, although he is still just as AI, unfortunately. So I don't think he'll be able to set a time. He'll be starting from the back of the grid, even behind Chevy Wolves, which is unfortunate, but it's league racing. It's going to happen. It's esports. Those disconnections do happen from time to time. And Vettel is saying stop the clock. Mercedes 1-2. I'm sure they would also wish for the clock to be stopped and for that timer to be at 5.4 seconds instead of 5 minutes and 40 seconds at the moment, just to kind of let the clock run out. But pretty good lap times here. A 1:32.683. Very good stuff there from Tazio. The top 3 or top 4 actually are within half a second, or within half a second, and then the top 9 are just over a second apart. As we do see some drivers going and making their way through the field, trying to get these laps in here as we are getting ready for feature qualifying here at Texas, and honestly, it's going to be a fun one here tonight. I love seeing the banter that goes on in Twitch chat during the race week. It's probably one of my favorite things to do here in Rush Racing League. So while we kind of are in a bit of a lull before we go ahead and get into the real fast and furious part of qualifying, where everybody's trying to get out last moment to set the best lap time with the track conditions at its best, how is everyone doing here tonight? How is everybody doing here on this fine, well, Tuesday morning, Tuesday evening, Tuesday afternoon, wherever you may be watching in the world? Coming to you live from Florida, it is 4:25 a.m. It is about, I want to say it's about 8:25 over in the land down under where this league is being hosted from. So, how are you guys doing here tonight? Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic night. I know I certainly am, as drivers are now getting ready to give it a go, as the Racing Bulls of Legend and Woofa are going out. 7:25, so I was close. I was close on the time, but time zones are a very interesting thing. But I digress. We are here today to see how this feature qualifying is going to go. Sprint qualifying was pretty fun. It was pretty tight right up at the front. And then obviously the sprint was really cinematic. We had some really good battles up until some connection shenanigans ultimately threw that one straight to the bin. But hopefully we'll get some good battling here tonight because there's a lot of parts that you can battle on this track. It's kind of like, it's almost like Interlagos in a way where there's so many spots to battle and there's really only one particular section where you can't really do a lot of battling, and for here it's sector 1. The rest of the track you can duke it out on, so we're gonna jump on board with Woofa, who's currently going ahead and getting a lap in. Not improving though at this stage, but I think also just trying to get the track position, trying to fire it up to get ready for another lap. And alright, I have a thing I must check. Alright, so there we go. Just a quick little update, just to kind of run back through the sprint results when we're done here, so we'll go ahead and do that. But it is the last 2 minutes of qualifying here in the feature qualifying here in the Circuit of the Americas. And a lot of drivers are on outlaps here at the moment. We'll jump on board with whoever you guys want. If you guys want to go ahead and redeem and on board, just remember it is only 2,000 credits, 2,000 channel points. So, and I know for some of you guys might have an ad, but for those of you who don't have ads at this current stage, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. And if you aren't subscribed with Prime, just tell chat which ad blocker you're using. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning on in. Regardless if you have an ad at this stage or not, as these drivers are going to go ahead and get through, we're going to ride on board with Spud Muffin, who is making his Rush Racing League debut here tonight. He had a pretty good qualifying, but in race trim he fell down to the lower reaches. He fell down to P16, which is out of the points range for any form of point system here at Rush Racing League. So he's going to go into turn number 12 now and going through a part of the track that on paper you really shouldn't be able to battle on, but it is always a battle. But doing great. Just got a math test. Oh, well, we wish you the best of luck here. As the timer runs out, Spud Muffin will come across the line to get his best lap in. He will go to provisional pole on his debut. That may not stick, but still that is a very impressive result here for the Williams. That is something you don't see every day, but it is the beauty of Rush Racing League. Sometimes you get those star rookies that just absolutely impress, but Tazio's still coming through. Hunter's still going through. Jackal's on outlap, so he won't improve. He won't go back-to-back here for poles, or he won't go back-to-back for P2s, I should say. We'll see about Tazio. Tazio, is he going to go ahead and rain on Williams Parade here? Come across the line. He will take provisional pole. And we'll see about Hunter. Is Hunter going to go ahead and jump up? He will improve his time, but not his position. Is there anybody who can usurp Tazio? Because Tazio's got 0.3 of a second on pole right now. Druzill's going to come across the line. It won't be an improvement. And what a lap time there from Tazio. Almost in the 1:31s. Excellent stuff here from Mercedes. And that makes Vettel a very happy man. So it is 1-4 for Mercedes. Not exactly the 1-2, but a sprint pole or a feature race pole is definitely worth celebrating by 0.3 of a second too. So it'll be interesting to see how that does play out. in the grand scheme of the race, but getting that one qualifying lap in is one thing, but getting 28 laps in consistently is going to be an entirely different ballpark. So as the timer runs out, we'll just see how things transpire in the race itself. So going through our qualifying here, Tazia will take pole position, followed by Jackal, Spud Muffin, Hunter, Uncle Morty, Quicksilver, Deck, Drew Zillakilla, MPJ, Filthy Orange, Dwight, Paul and Hell, Crowjag, and then we have David, Striker, Woofa, Legend, Panda, Chevy, and Liam. Chevy serving a quali ban. Crowjag apparently not using any tires. And Liam unable to rejoin the session here. It's weird that Kojak wasn't registered as using a different tire. He's running the 2026 Pirelli tire test, I guess. So we're about to go ahead and get locked in and ready to go for the feature race here in Texas. 28 laps here, lots of overtaking opportunities, lots of battle potential here as well, so we'll see who's going to make the most of it, who's going to succeed, and who's going to be a bit on the struggle bus as we go ahead and get things ready to roll here, as we do have a lot of math equations going on here. I know Aston Martin had their kind of mathematic formula on their car for the Texas Grand Prix. I guess that's interesting. Math is a bit of a weird one for me. I did good in Algebra 1. Or I did okay in Algebra 1. Sucked in Geometry. Did excellent in Algebra 2. And then absolutely killed it in Business Math. So, anyways, we can talk about academics another time. But we have 5 red lights. And it's lights out. And away we go here in the feature race in Austin, Texas. Who's going to go and make the move first? Look at Spud Muffin trying to send it deep of the inside. Jackal gets the move. He takes the lead off the rip. And we are seeing an absolute masterclass of racing happening here. We all get through Big Red just fine, now making our way through the S's. And this is going to be a spicy race, I can already tell you. Taking a look at the starting tire, Liam and Striker will be the only drivers starting on the hard. Everybody else running that yellow-walled medium tire. As Spud Muffin's actually had a pretty good start here to the race. There is a potential for a two-stop, but just in my experience, nobody's really going to go for the two-stop unless the safety car comes out. So now it's going to be, look at Spud Muffin though. Spud Muffin trying to go ahead and get close in on the action. Trying to go ahead and get something done here. Trying to make some early moves here in this race. Which, I mean, it's been very, very, very impressive work from the Williams. And that is absolutely amazing. You love to see it as Tazio going a bit wide from turn 19. Now, careful you do that too many times, you'll give yourself a penalty. And we've seen a podium yoinked away because of a penalty coming through that corner. As Jackal will set the fastest lap of the race. And then he's going to go ahead and continue on. We'll see how the rest of the race goes. He does have, well, DRS has been enabled, so DRS will be a factor here from this lap onwards, unless the safety car does come out, which hopefully not. Hopefully we'll be able to go through all 28 laps with no incident free. I know there's probably going to be some bits of contact here, but we'll just have to see. Jackal now does have Tazio still for company, who is trying to get a move done. We'll see if he can get this move done during the DRS straight. Well, just kind of see, we see Jackal trying to break in the slipstream, break in the toe, and he's gonna line his car up defensively. As Tazio, oh, Tazio spins it into the, just spins it into the back of the Williams. He is a parked mobile chicane, and somehow Tazio gets hit with a 10-second time penalty for that collision. Oh, Mercedes, Mercedes, Mercedes. Oh, Vettel, I would just turn off the stream now. I know you've already witnessed pain and suffering that no team principal should ever experience, but oh, you gotta feel for him there. You really do. Yeah, that's just absolutely heartbreaking. Yeah, somebody please do a check-in on Vettel. That is rough. It's kind of weird, kind of a weird spot to lose it. Kind of like lost it on the straight there. But yeah, Spud Buffin is going to go ahead and try to recuperate here. He's going to try to get back into opponent's spot. Ferrari's in opponent's spot, which will do wonders for their Div 6 campaign, as they are the only team in Div 6 to be on double-digit points, when everybody else is on 3 digits. So that's not exactly a good place to be if you are Ferrari, especially considering that they are still trying to fight for the overalls. But we're gonna see here as Spud had to move temporarily, but we've seen that time and time again here in Cota where you can get a move coming out. But look at this, they're battling side by side. Ferrari and Williams doing battle here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just caught the message in Twitch chat, but we are seeing a really good battle here between the Williams and the Ferrari. They're gonna go in and duke it out here for these positions. They're gonna give it their all here, as you're still going to feel bad for the Mercedes, but Tazio has made him spots. He's got past the 2 V-carbs here at this stage, so he's already making some form of a comeback. These guys are going to try to go ahead and duke it out. Going through the S's here in the Williams is Spud. I don't think anyone got damage from that. I think we would have seen a retirement because it looked like it would have been wing or rear wing or end play damage, which I don't think is it. And look at this maneuver. Look at that. That's a beautiful move there. Getting it done by Spud Muffin. Williams has just had the best luck when it comes to the silly season. Williams had such a rough go of things at the start, and then Silly Season 1 happened and they started climbing up the order. Silly Season 2 happened last week, and it looks like I'm up the order again, going a bit wide, trying to defend, and he'll lose 2 positions there from that moment. And there's a yellow flag, and Hunter spun around. The silver arrows flying in a awkward trajectory now. And Liam has gotten track limit violations. And oh boy, this race has been dramatic to say the least. As Spud is now up into 3rd now, so he's got a chance of getting a good P2 here on the night. That is, you still gotta feel for the Mercedes duo. That, I mean, it happened to them in the sprint, and it happened to them again in the feature. So it unfortunately does happen, as we do still have some battles potentially brewing here on track, as Uncle Morty is now trying to close in on the Haas. This 3-way fight for 3rd, as Panda gets a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. He will join Liam in the track limit penalty club. Although I think Well, I'm not too sure. I think the stewards might have to look into that incident with Tazio and Spud. I think he could get that 10 seconds removed potentially, as there's another yellow in sector 2. I think that might be Panda having a bit of a moment, but we do have some battles going through here, as we do have some really tightly knit action here. Once again, if you guys want to go on board with anybody, go ahead and use your channel points. It is 2K channel points to go ahead and request an onboard lap, and we'll go ahead and do it. We'll go ahead and let you just enjoy the sights and sounds of riding on board. And actually, we're gonna do that here real quick. We're gonna do like we did in qualifying. We're gonna go ahead and do an onboard lap as Drewzilla gets a penalty now. We're going to ride on board with the All-American car on the All-American track. We'll be right back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And the onboard lap with MPJ as he tries to close the gap to Spud Muffin. These guys are fighting for the last step on the podium. It is lap 7 out of 28, so we're just about to go through what would be in American football, the fourth quarter, or first quarter of the race. A little bit of extra math for you there, as we are currently just about to be at the end of the first 25% of the race, as it is a 50% race here in Rush Racing League for the most part. Reserve races, I believe, are the only ones that are shorter, and of course obviously the aforementioned sprint weekends, but those are a bit of a different ballpark in general, as MPJ is going to get that move done and dusted with no issues. But look at Spud Muffin trying to retake, and these guys are going to give it their all here, fighting it out. Look at Uncle Morty getting involved, and Uncle Morty taps him and spins him around. Contact and play damage, and that is going to bring Spud Muffin down the order. And I thought that was actually going to be a safety car, but it wasn't. Yeah, that is unfortunate there. Spud Muffin was having a pretty good race. Now he's going to probably peel in to get that wing fixed. He is going to go ahead and do so. Coming on into the pits to get that front wing replaced, as Filthy Orange will as well. I think he was also involved in that incident. And Paul and Hell might also have been involved in that incident. So pit stops are cycling on through for these drivers to get a new wing. So they're going to go ahead and get a new front wing and send it back out to the track. It's been a rough one for any of these front runners here, so. Except Jackal. Jackal's been the only front runner who's been kind of just enjoying his own I mean, this is really just a Tuesday evening cruise for him at this stage because he's got 6 seconds to the car behind, and it looks like he's gaining time on a few of those occasions. So he really does not have to do a whole lot, and this really is kind of reminiscent of Div 2, where the leader checked out and then everybody else kind of had to sort it out behind. But it looks like P1 and P2 have checked out here in general, so it'll be interesting to see kind of what their pit strategy is going to be like, but it's always going to be a bit of a toss-up in terms of strategy. So, once again, still a good amount of battling to go here on the night, as Uncle Morty is trying to go ahead and take the podium away from the Haas, trying to take it away from the home team as we go to Red Bull's backyard next week in Austria. We head to the Red Bull ring. Sadly not the reverse layout, but it is the Red Bull ring. It's a fun track, very good for overtaking, just like this track is. Good amount of different line options you could take there. It's just as well as you can through turn 1 here. Ultimately one of my favorite tracks on the calendar, and I think it is confirmed to be coming back next season. I believe it was part of our track selection process. So another thing you guys can do, if you guys want, you guys can go ahead and save up your channel points for next season to do track selection. I think it starts at 50k channel points, as Paul and Hell gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's not a great one to get. As we do some more battles, kind of propping up through the field, we'll check in with Hunter, who the Mercedes drivers have made their way back up into the top 10, or into the top 15. They've made their way back into the points. So a pretty good recovery drive there from the drivers. We'll just kind of have to see if they can continue this forward momentum that they got going on here, and they can continue to do battle with drivers, try to climb their way back up through the field. As we see another battle for position, it is Liam against Tazio, and that position will be ceded really quickly as Tazio will retake P9, and these two will give it another go some corners later. But I think Liam might still be on his AI potentially. Oh, Coda's not on the next season's schedule. That wasn't a track that was selected. Yeah, that's unfortunate, especially because of the amount of beautiful races we've had here this week. So, very unfortunate, but then again, a lot of people had a similar feeling when Spa wasn't on the calendar for this season. It wasn't on this calendar. It wasn't on the NA calendar. We did run it previously, as Hunter now gets a 3-second time pen for track limit violations, but we ran it in F2, and that was a really fun one. Tazio getting a penalty too, so both drivers getting hit with penalties for track limit violations. I feel so bad for Vettel, honestly. I know man's probably going through every stage of grief as part of a speed run. But we'll see here as Uncle Morty does go very wide. He will give the position back, but he did have an overtake there very, very temporarily, but it will be seated, and now he is going to go ahead and try to close back into the front, or to the back of the Toyota car ahead, aka the Haas. He's going to give it his all. He's going to try to line up a move. Now, like we said earlier, you can do a lot of battling through Sector 3, and it is pit stop time. Drivers have called it into the pits, and here we go. P2 to P4 or P4 to P5, all into the pits. As the only drivers on the mediums who have stayed out so far are Jackal, Dwight, Woofa, and Tazio, which I think, then again, Tazio is going to probably try to go longer. He's going to have to try to do he's going to have to try to make up some progress here. He's coming up to the back of Woofa, but he got 17 seconds to Dwight. And okay, Liam is actually in, so that's good. Although then again, I guess he's been making some good progress too. So I think that's been pretty well solid. But anyways, here's the penalties now as they stand. Tazio with 13 seconds of pens, and then you have Liam, Druzilla, Hunter, and Panda on 3 points or 3 seconds of pens, and then Paulin on 10 seconds of pens because of the pit lane incident a few moments ago. So, and we'll see how the rest of this one plays out. Wolf on the back into white now, so this is a three-way battle for what is which is currently going to be P2 on the road, but they do have to cycle in pit stops here still. So let's take a look at our biggest movers here in the race as we are approaching the second half of the race. Woofa will be the biggest mover for now, although he still needs to make a pit stop. Jackal will make his pit stop now. And he's going to come out contact between him and Woofa coming out of the pits. Jackal on the hard tire, predictably so. Right now, I think the driver who's probably organically made it the most positions might be Striker, maybe? I know Woofa and Liam have to pit still, and I think actually Striker might not have to as well. Yeah, so Striker and Liam still need to pit. So Striker, Liam, Woofa, and Tazio all need to pit. So those will probably be coming up in about a lap or two. Jackal on the fresh hard tires is going to go ahead and just start trying to run away with this one. As they continue to go ahead and make their way through the laps here at the Circuit of the Americas. And Tazio is back up into the podium spots, but once again, he will have to pit. He might try an alternate strategy though. He might try to go a bit longer just to kind of extend and maybe have fresher tires towards the end, but I'm sure his engineers are working overtime trying to go ahead and give him the best possible strategy to make things work. We'll just kind of have to see how they all play out. We now see Woofa coming into the pits, Tazio and Liam still going out. As it'll probably be a bit of a while before Liam comes in. He is on the hard tire, so he can extend. He can extend the stint as long as he wants. He's going to do better with Tazio here. Oh, they touch. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel action here. As Tazio and Liam are going to go in and do battle. The mediums are going to start to fall away at this stage if they haven't already. And the hard tire will be a bit advantageous at this point of the race, but once again, I mean, having better tires is one thing. You can have all the stats in your favor, as MPJ now gets a 3-second time penalty. He'll be the latest invitee to the penalty club. But everything mathematically can happen on paper, but if you can't get done on track, then that's pretty much all she wrote. He will have DRS, so Liam is going to try to go ahead and close the gap. He'll get the pass on to Tazio. Nicely done there. He had the speed, he had the DRS, he had the move. Pretty much done and dusted. And now Quicksilver is going to be in the mix, but Quicksilver's on brand new hard tires. I haven't really got a lot of experience on them yet. They're probably just about warmed up here. They're probably maybe still a little cold potentially, but I think for the most part here in the scorching heat of Texas, he's going to go ahead and continue on. We're now actually officially at the halfway stage of the race. We'll do a quick race check-in, and then we'll do a flying lap with the leader, as just to kind of pay homage to like American football, and where we have a halftime. It'll be the not sponsored but reckless hydration break. So this will be a good chance for everybody to go and get some water. I know Red Bull may taste good, I know Monster may taste good, or insert energy drink brand here, but You need water in your system. Water is good for your body. Keeps you hydrated. These drivers will not be performing to the top of the game without some hydration, so go ahead and get some water, get some snacks if you need to. It'll be a hydration break just after this lap. As we are checking in with a few different cars here. Some battles here as David trying to get it moved onto or trying to defend from Dwight. He will succeed in doing so. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get ready for our flying lap with Jackal as he's going to go ahead and kick off the second half of the race. And yes, Patrick, go ahead and get some water. It is very, very important. You can flavor it up a bit with some lemon juice if you want. I do that actually. It's a good commentating technique. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and take our hydration break now as we begin the second half of the race. We'll be right back. Alrighty, everybody, we are back here, ready to go. Hope you guys did enjoy just riding on board with our current race leader and championship leader here in Div 5. As now everybody is on the hard tire compound here. Liam is now pretty much trying to fight for a podium here. He would have to clear Quicksilver by a few seconds, but he did clear Striker, so I think Liam, he's made up a lot of good positions here. I think he might still need a pit though. Yeah, he still needs to pit, so he's one of the two drivers who still need to pit, himself and Striker. But it is worth noting that they are going on the longer tire. They're on the hard compound tire, which is meant to go the distance. So we'll see how he can manage, if he can continue to close the gap between himself and Quicksilver. And if he can get a move, or even just spending time in the DRS in Quicksilver, is already giving him an advantage to his closest in-race rival of Striker. As we're going to check in with from one Williamson, now that we're checking in with Spud Muffin. And there seems to have been a bit of a moment. I think somebody might have just ran a bit wide. I don't see where the incident was. There was a yellow in Sector 3. Very temporarily, but Striker's going to go into the pits now. He'll jump onto a medium tire as Liam continues on for another lap. And Crowjack is now pretty much right on the back of his teammates. And Drew is right on the back of MPJ. So Liam gets a 3-second time penalty, another one to add to his collection here. And he is going to go ahead and try to duke it out. He's going to try to close in the gap and try to give Alpine that team of the week that Aardvark was mentioning in the Twitch chat. So here we go. He's going to go ahead and put the foot to the floor, pedal to the metal. Going to close in the gap, and the gap is going to continue to ebb and flow here. As now Drew is going to go ahead and just fire it up. He's got the DRS, he's got the speed, he's got the slipstream, does he got the move? It's kind of tricky when the car in front also has DRS. Trying to make it go around the outside, and that doesn't usually work, and it didn't work here. Bit of a course correction there from his teammate just behind of Krojak, so unfortunate there that move couldn't be made, but you still got almost another half of racing left to go here on the night. A little over 10 laps to go here, as after the next lap we will be down to the final 10 laps of racing. And while not as many fireworks here, this has still been a very entertaining Circuit of the Americas race. We'll be back next week for Austria, so that should be a fun one. Final sprint weekend of the season here in Rush Racing League. So if your division has done a sprint, then that is the last sprint you have to do for the season, unless you partake in NA or F2, which I think NAEU already has done their stuff. They're not racing this week. They'll be back not this Saturday, but they'll be back the upcoming Saturday in Qatar for what I believe is their season finale, as Filthy Orange does set the fastest lap of the race. And then we also have F2, which F2 I think should be coming up here as well. I'll take a look at that really quickly, but yeah, so F2 is coming up. We actually, funny enough, we raced this week at Austria, so you get some good Red Bull Ring action. You get F2 on November 7th, and then this coming week it is all at the Red Bull Ring, and we'll see if Red Bull can bring in the results at their home track. That is going to be something that we'll be kind of looking into, and you guys want to stay tuned to see if it comes to fruition. As Tazio gets another 3-second time penalty for his troubles, and he is now up to 6 seconds of pen, so bit of a rough one here for Mercedes, the driver who started so well in a sprint and ultimately just not having a great feature race. Started on pole position, actually, I believe, and then just he had that spin, got it with a 10-second, I believe, and overall it's just been it's been a whole day of peaks and valleys here for Mercedes. Like, they did really good in both sprint and feature qualifying, but then in the race, incidents just kind of happened and they started tumbling down the order. But there's always a good chance to bounce back. You always have Austria to bounce back and try to give it a go. Alpine are on track actually to get the team of the week. They just have to outscore Mercedes and Williams by about 6-ish points according to Twitch chat, and then they'll go ahead and get that award. They'll go ahead and get the team of the week award. So very good stuff here, as we are down to less than 10 laps of racing to go here in the Lone Star State. Lots of drivers going to go ahead and duke it out for position. They're going to try, as there's been a few gaps that have formed here in the race here today. So we'll go ahead and check in on the tires again. And here we are. Some drivers did make their pit stops onto the mediums. The majority of the field is running the hards. So we'll see how the rest of the race goes. We're going to be on board with Krojak, and he's trying to go ahead and Closing the gap to MPJ. He's on 1 lap older tires here. He's going to try to close it on in here. He's going to lose a little bit. Is he going to get back in DRS range? Yes, he will. He will have DRS on this coming straight. He'll be able to really start closing the gap to MPJ. MPJ won't have the DRS this go around. So it's going to be a fight here as we come down the back stretch here. The rear wing is open, but he wasn't really closing the gap there, so MPJ there. And MPJ didn't even look like he was using that much battery either, so good on him, as we do have Drewzilla still trying to chase down Uncle Morty. Now, he would have to clear him by 3 seconds for his penalty, so that is going to be how that one is going to play out. We've seen it done before. I mean, once Abe had 9 seconds of penalties, but since he had like a 30-second lead, he still pretty much just had, I mean, there was still a massive 21-second lead at the end of it with penalties applied. So it is possible to start running away from this field, as we have seen from a man we haven't talked a whole lot about here tonight, that being Jackal. I mean, what we've seen here at this race is that if you can break away from DRS, then you're in a pretty advantageous position. So you're in a pretty good spot to just kind of clock out and skedaddle down the road off into the sunset. And that is pretty much exactly what we have seen here from MPJ. Or sorry, of Jackal. I don't know where MPJ came from, but of Jackal. I was looking at him and trying to see what gaps we got. We do have a pretty close battle here. Hunter trying to make his way back through the field. He's got David in his sights. And all DRS coming down the straight. So he's going to go ahead and fire it up. He's going to go ahead and turn on the afterburners and get on through. And then he's going to go ahead and try to hold on to this position. Will David have an answer back? The answer is no. At least not yet. I mean, we know this track is very good for dueling here. You can go ahead and have absolutely cinematic fights on track. And we'll see if David is going to be able to potentially try to get a retake. It doesn't look like it. I think he's lost a little bit of it. He is on 2 lap older tires. But yeah, I think at this stage he's going to just try to stay in DRS range. Drewzilla now has called it to the back of Uncle Morty. These two are going to do battle once again. They're going to go through the S's, where the dirty air makes things really, really difficult to navigate. So we'll see how Drewzilla handles the S's here in the Lone Star State. He's going to go ahead and still stay close. He's actually pretty close here through the S's, so I think this is going to give him a very good opportunity come the DRS straight to actually get an overtake done and dusted here. We'll see. He's going to think about a move. He's going to think about it. He's going to, at minimum, just try to line his car up to get ready for a good move here. He's going to have DRS coming here soon. The rear wing is open, and he's going to start flying away. Uncle Morty is going to go and try to place his car defensively. He's going to potentially hold on to that position for now. Drewzilla going to go to try to get a move around the outside. We've seen this move before. It's going to be the switchback. Outside becomes the inside, and he's going to try, but Uncle Morty is fighting with every fiber of his being for this last podium spot. He's going to keep it for now, but it is tough racing out here. We are just about 6 laps to go here in the race, and it's been a very entertaining one. We've had some good battles here, some really true tests of grit, and drivers just absolutely leaving it all on the line. We've had thrills and we have spills, and we have a good amount more racing left to go as drivers continue to make their way through, as Chevy now gets a penalty for his track limit violations, and I think it's going to be time for driver of the day. So go ahead and put your driver of the day in the comments section in Twitch chat, and we'll go to make a vote out of them, and we'll see who is going to win driver of the day here today. So I see Quicksilver, I see Drewzilla. Alright, Crowjag. Alright, we see Crowjag in there as well. So a lot of love for Alpine here tonight. Uncle Morty. Quicksilver. Alright, so here's what we'll do. We'll put all those names that are listed in chat as this battle continues on. And then we'll go ahead and get things rolling here on that front. There we go. All right, so we're gonna get a poll out here very soon. So we'll go ahead and say Quicksilver's 1. And then Drewzilla was another one. And then we got Crowjag. Uncle Morty, as we see the white getting moved on a Crowjag, and these guys are going to fight tooth and nail through the yeses here. This is going to be tight battles. This could end in disaster if these guys are just not careful. They gotta be careful, and they gotta just be patient because you have a massive overtaking spot here very, very shortly. I'll throw in one other driver in there. Alright. So the poll is in. We'll give it about 5 minutes. So the poll is live for everybody. So and then it says there's a request. We're gonna check for pens as there's battles here in the midfield. Fighting it out. They're gonna go ahead and try. Spud Muffin now gets a penalty himself. Trying to go to get a move down here. And it's a Williams touch. And there's big contact here on lap 25. Into the wall goes Spud Muffin. And he is stuck, I think. And it's a safety car here in the late stages of the race. And that is going to back this field up tremendously. Alright, so we will accept that request, Hennessy, after this lap, or after we get back racing here. So we will do our first flying lap back on board, and Hunter is out, so it has not been the weekend for Hunter. No points gained here for him. He DNF'd in the sprint, DNF'd in the feature, and that's going to be all she wrote. This is going to be interesting because this is going to bring Quicksilver into potential of winning the race here today. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So right now in the polls, Crowjag has the highest percentage of votes. Crowjag has 2 votes. Quicksilver is 1, and the other 3 have 0 here at the moment. So go ahead and get your votes in, and then help us crown our driver of the day. I'm kind of leaning in the direction of Quicksilver because this is such a result that Ferrari needs. They've been needing a good result here in Div 6 in a while, and this podium, which could potentially surface into a win, I think is definitely something driver of the day worthy. But of course, go ahead and get your votes in. And yeah, we'll just kind of see how the rest of the race goes. We're in the final corner now, as Jackal had such a gap. He opted to throw on a brand new set of mediums. We'll see if these are actually brand new or if this is a scrub set. No, these are factory new. So we're going to see a lot of drivers pit in now. It's going to be probably about 3 laps to the end of the race here, so 3 laps to go. Actually, it might even this race actually might get back going on 27, I think. Jackal will be the first to catch the back of the safety car, so it'll be a fast and furious shootout to the finish here, with Jackal having to defend for 2 laps at least. It may get going on the final lap. We might not even have DRS, or there might be an odd chance that the race actually finishes under safety car, which I don't think it can do in online, maybe, but we will see. And then, of course, we will have our podium sitters and our driver of the day into the comms box for a quick little chat before we wrap things up, and then turn our attention towards reserve program, but then towards Austria. So let's actually talk about the overalls coming into the week. So the overalls coming into this week are as follows. So it's been a pretty good season for some teams, as I'm actually still looking for that. But yeah, it's been a very good season, very competitive, very fun. And right now, Aston do lead the overalls with 1,265 points, followed by McLaren with 1,211, and then Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, Kick Sauber, Williams, Alpine, V-Carb, and then Haas. So that's how things are going to go to get situated here. And we'll go ahead and try to get an onboard lap in with... We'll try to get one on with Liam. No promises, though, just depending on how this last lap plays out. Actually, if SJ is still watching, SJ might have to actually refund his channel points, potentially, because safety car is in. We're going to go and get racing with 2 laps to go. And here we go. We're going to go to get racing here for the penultimate lap of the United States Grand Prix. And we'll actually ride on board with Liam for this one. We'll see. We'll kind of switch back and forth in case there's a battle. Big moment happening here. Some contacts potentially happening here, as Jackal's already pulled away by about a second and a half. Liam and MPJ are going to go side by side. TMT is out of the race, and he has lost it. It won't be another safety car. It's too late in the race. And we see Liam trying every which way to try to get a move here. And there's battles happening here. We're going to jump up to P4. And he's going to go ahead and try to go ahead. Uncle Morty trying to get a move. He's on those brand new soft tires, so he's got lots to play with. And there's an Alpine that has got a massive course correction. It is Crowjag. And he is trying to get the car reversed. We're trying to at least wait for a good opportunity to reverse. Drewzilla is going to go in and fight for the podium spot, but Uncle Morty takes the position away. And the battle still continues. Jackal has built up a very solid gap. Our top 3 have pretty decent gaps, but Drewzilla has got to go ahead and try to close it in. But he's on 16-lap old hard tires. He's got to worry about Liam here in the back, just right behind him, who's going to try to get an overtake done here. And it's the final lap of the race coming up here very, very shortly. Jackal does lead, and he takes the fastest lap. And look at this. It's about to be a pass here. Liam is about to go to get through. DRS is now enabled. You get one shot of DRS. And they're going to go side by side going into Big Red. This is going to be a fight. Drewzilla and Liam fighting for 4th. MPJ also gets on through onto Drewzilla. And they're going to fight a little bit of contact there between them going in the S's. You don't really want to go side by side through the S's too often, because that could end in disaster. Luckily it didn't. These drivers knew when to kind of back out. Something my mom always told me when I was younger is you got to pick your battles. And picking a battle through the S's isn't exactly ideal. So we're going to see here as there's going to be some positions made. As Uncle Morty now on those brand new soft tires, as we do have a Sauber spun around. That is Chevy having a bit of a moment, but we'll jump back here to Uncle Morty, and this is going to be a fight to the line here between these two. Fresh hards against fresh soft tires. Who's going to win this battle? The softs would get fired up quicker, but it's going to be a absolute slugfest to the line here. They're going to go ahead and wait, but once again, this is a good spot to battle, but it's hard to kind of get an overtake set up here, as these drivers are going to continue on. But coming to the line now, taking victory in the Lone Star State, Jackal wins the United States Grand Prix, and Quicksilver and Uncle Morty will come to the line. Quicksilver will get a much-deserved podium for Ferrari, a much-needed one for their efforts here, and try to get them out of the double-digit purgatory. And Uncle Morty will round out our top three with Red Bull scoring a massive heap of points. So we're going to go ahead and have a chat with our top three drivers after the race. And then we're also going to get Crow Jack in here as well, because he did win Driver of the Day. So we'll go ahead and talk to our top three. We'll talk with Jackal, we'll talk with Quicksilver, Uncle Morty, and Crow Jack. If you guys could make your way to the comms box, that would be greatly appreciated. We'll keep it quick, because I know you guys had a long night. So we're going to go ahead and enjoy the podium celebration here, as Jackal takes a dominant win here in Texas. And he's bolstering his championship lead here in Div 6. And he has been very impressive here throughout the season. And now the champagne will be spread around here. Everything's bigger in Texas, and the gap was pretty big even then, right there towards the end. So we're going to go ahead and go through our results here. Driver of the Day in-game was given to Liam. Cleanest driver is Jackal. Fastest lap is Jackal as well. And we're going to go ahead and get straight to the race results here. So Jackal wins here in Texas, followed by Quicksilver Deck, Uncle Morty, David, Dwight, Liam, Striker, MPJ, Drew Zillakilla, Woofa, Spud Muffin, Tazio, Chevy, Crowjack, Paul and Hell, Panda, Filthy Orange, TMT, Hunter, rounding out our grid. And then just a further look back at the sprint with Jackal taking the win here in the sprint, with Liam getting the fastest lap in the sprint. And yeah, that's going to go ahead and wrap things up here in our division. But we do have interviews and post-race to go ahead and go through, so we'll go ahead and get that rolling if we can have our top three and Crowjack into the comms box for a quick interview. Alright, so we'll see if we can get these guys in here. Alright, we'll see if we can get them on in here, and then we'll go ahead and run through our interviews. We do have Uncle Morty here with us so far. And then we'll see who else we can get in here. But in the meantime, we'll actually go ahead and kick off our interviews. We do have our race winner here as well. And so we'll just go ahead and get started here. Starting with our P3 driver of Uncle Morty. So you guys, Red Bull had a pretty good comeback here in this race. So just kind of talk us through your race here today, and also the sprint.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, we're pretty happy with the result. I think Dave started 12th in the feature, so that was a massive effort. Yeah, the feature was. I'm really happy with quality. I'm not quick by any means, but starting fifth was obviously really handy, higher than where I normally start. Then we're in just a DRS train for quite a while, and me, MPJ and I had so many goes. Had so many goes at him down the back straight and just couldn't get him. And then eventually I think I did, and then I made a bit of a mistake when there was a bit of a train behind me. Had to take a bit of evasive action a couple of times, and then managed to hold on. With the sprint, again, just massive battle at the end with Quicksilver. It was really fun racing, like really clean, and full credit to him. And yeah, really enjoyed the race.
Yeah, your teammate finished right behind you in fourth, so very good result here for Red Bull. It's your guys' home track next week when we head to the Red Bull Ring, so do you think that you guys will be able to carry this momentum coming into next week?
Oh, I don't know. I think this is a bit of an anomaly for us finishing this high up, but we'll see. We'll give it our best shot. We just try and be consistent and have to rely on a little bit of luck, and we'll see how we go. Full credit to Jackal again, but yeah, good points after Dave's very unfortunate race ban last week.
Indeed, yeah, it's always good to have that good comeback story, and it's a good motivation booster for you guys here in Div 6, and I'm also sure the rest of the Red Bull fold here in Rush. So, last question before we go ahead and let you go. Is there anyone you'd like to give a special thanks or shout out to here tonight?
I thanked my mum last time, so let's thank my mum again. And, obviously Dave for being an awesome TP. And, hopefully we put some water in Jackal's fuel tank next week or something. He's too quick.
I mean, given his pace today, I'm not sure that would have even helped. But, anyways, once again, congratulations on the podium, and we will see you next week.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.
All right, last but most certainly not least, we have our last interview on the night. Quicksilver is. He said he was too excited to speak, which that is a very valid feeling. Getting Ferrari's, I think, best result in Div 6 and across the season. So I do want to give a massive congrats to Quicksilver. He ran a fantastic race. But without any further ado, the man who pretty much was not necessarily in the driver's seat in quali, but when it came to race time, there wasn't hardly anyone that could really keep up with him. It is Jackal. How are you feeling today, mate?
I think Quicksilver deck is in here if you want to do his.
All right, yeah, we'll do Quicksilver real quick. And Quicksilver, P2, and what I think might be Ferrari's best result of Div 6. How are you feeling?
Oh, I can't even put it into words, man. Like, after coming off so many disappointing results early in the season, to just put in the time, bounce back, and come home for a P2, it's just can't put it into words.
It's a much needed result for Ferrari in Div 6. I'm sure you can also say that it hasn't been the easiest go of things here this season in this division, but a very good result for you today. Just talk to us about your race in the feature and in the sprint race. It was the last sprint weekend of the season, so how did this race go for you, in your opinion?
Sprint race wasn't the best. My pace could have been a bit higher. I put a wet setup on some reason, but yeah, we got to the feature race, just kept calm, did what I needed to do, and yeah, safety car was probably not best of timing, but on the fresh set of tires and just under it.
Indeed, you did. So, last two questions before we let you go. We are heading to the Red Bull Ring next week in Austria. Are you confident that you could potentially bring in another positive result for the team there?
I definitely won't have so much time to practice in the upcoming week, but I'm hoping. I've just been getting stronger and stronger as we've gone through. Obviously, very close to P4 in Abu Dhabi, and then P2 tonight. So hopefully we can continue this form and bounce back in Div 6.
Awesome. Last question before we let you go. Is there anyone you'd like to give a special thanks or shout out to?
Uh, Probably Lamb, honestly, just sticking with me through the season, not giving up, and well, yeah, I guess it was worth waiting it out.
Indeed. Yeah, I think Lamb is probably going to be one of the happier TPs here on the night. Well, once again, congratulations. Go celebrate. You earned this podium, and we'll see you next week in the Red Bull Ring.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and jump over to our sprint and feature race winner of Jackal. Now, Jackal, in the sprint race, once Liam had his unfortunate disconnect, you were pretty much checked out. So, I mean, was this a track you put in the most practice all season, or?
I came home from work at 5:30. I did 3 laps, just getting the ERS down, and that's all the practice that I did. Unfortunately, so if I had done more
Wow.
practice, maybe I would have done a little bit better. But I don't think it really mattered in the end.
I mean, you were pretty much you had like over a 10-second gap at several points throughout the feature race in particular. So yeah, that was actually a really strong performance. You have a really good lead in the championship. Do you think you can keep up this momentum going into next week at the Red Bull Ring?
Yeah, I really like Austria. It's a really good track. Hopefully, I have my teammate there this time. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Finally, after having so many races where it's like, oh my god, this track, oh my god, this track. Finally, actually looking forward to racing a track.
Yeah, another thing too is I did want to ask you about is what were your thoughts when you saw that the safety car came out around the last like 5 laps or so?
I was actually in a VC with Hunter. I believe it was Hunter when he caused the safety car. So I kind of felt it was coming, kind of knew it was coming, and I was a little bit stressed. There was a bit of debate whether I should go into new mediums or new softs. Softs were probably the call, but I chose mediums for whatever reason, and yeah, it didn't really matter in the end. To be fair.
Yeah, I mean you pretty much already built up like about a 5 or 6 second gap right there at the end. But last question before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a special thanks or shout out to after tonight's win?
Yeah, Ranieri for the help with the sprint and the quali. Hunter for that little battle, and Quicksilver and Uncle Morty for getting on the podium. Congrats, guys.
Indeed. Well, congratulations on the win. Go ahead and celebrate, and we will see you in Austria.
All right, thanks.
So that's gonna wrap things up here in Div 6 here tonight. It has been an entire week full of just action-packed carnage, beautiful racing, amazing battles, everything you love to see in a Formula One race. But that is gonna wrap things up here. Before we go, I just want to give a massive thank you to Sim Racing Center, SimLab, Pagani and Advanced Simulation, and AI369. You guys are all very awesome. But another group of people that I think is very awesome is the Twitch chat. You guys have always been really fun. You guys are awesome as always. And hopefully we'll see you guys next time around when we head to the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and I've been your host and commentator for tonight's race. And we'll see you next time. Have a good night.